you will talk to a and a who will play in your face over and over and over and over and over again and still be like, watch what I'm about to do, watch what I'm about to say. And it's sad that another like to, really like to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not the most confident. They like to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl. And I've really been sparing you. You've been feeling yourself, nigga, because of your album and shit. And you really been doing me dirty after some years that I'm up yet. Not even a statue that I got for your. And it's so crazy that I gotta go fucking internet because whenever I tell you something, you don't take it seriously. And I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of this.
Yes, everyone. Cardi B didn't walk away from her marriage because of just another cheating scandal involving Offset. This time, something far darker was lurking beneath the surface. According to recent explosive claims, the breaking point came when Cardi B allegedly learned that her own sister, Hennessy, had confessed to being involved in an intimate encounter with Offset. That revelation reportedly shattered whatever fragile trust was left and exposed a secret that had been quietly poisoning everything for far too long. Suddenly, the awkward silences, the distance, and the strange tension between the sisters started to make a disturbing kind of sense. You see, Cardi B had endured infidelity before and never walked away. Public embarrassment didn't push her out either. Through scandal after scandal, she stood beside Offset, defending him when most people thought she should leave. So when she finally reached her limit and decided to end everything for good, people knew something deeper and far more personal must have happened behind closed doors. According to insiders, this was the moment everything collapsed. The marriage didn't just end because a boundary was crossed, it ended because trust inside the family itself was allegedly destroyed, leaving emotional damage that couldn't be repaired. This wasn't ordinary heartbreak. This was betrayal layered on top of betrayal, the kind that changes how you see the people closest to you. So, let's really break this down. Honestly, one of the most shocking things circulating right now has to be this story. It also seems to explain the growing rumors that Cardi B and Hennessy have quietly fallen out. According to multiple whispers online, this is the real reason Cardi B finally chose to separate from Offset permanently. And suddenly the timeline starts to look very different. For years, people assumed Cardi B would eventually leave because of Offset's constant cheating. But when you really think about it, that explanation never fully added up. No disrespect intended, but Cardi B married Offset even though his history of cheating was already public before the wedding ever happened. Nobody is blaming Cardi B or questioning her decisions. Still, the truth is she defended Offset repeatedly, sometimes to the point where she took the heat just to protect him, even after they were married and the scandals kept coming. She once made it clear herself, saying people constantly asked why she stayed, and she insisted she was successful, independent, and capable of leaving if she wanted. But she said she preferred to work through problems with her man on her own terms. She admitted he made mistakes, but also hinted she wasn't perfect either. In other words, she openly told the world that cheating alone wasn't enough to make her walk away. And if anyone still doubted how committed she was to staying, she addressed critics directly. She basically asked why she should leave just because people kept talking about it. She said cheating was wrong, but questioned what outsiders expected her to do, run into another relationship only to risk getting hurt again. Everyone goes through relationship struggles, she said, and people handle those struggles differently. Looking back, it's honestly hard to keep track of all the cheating scandals she endured with Offset, but she stayed through them anyway. At one point, many of us thought she had finally reached her limit because of the situation involving that woman Pri, especially after Pri's friend Blue stirred everything up online. And to be fair, the idea that Offset wasn't just cheating, but doing it recklessly and publicly seemed like enough to make Cardi B emotionally detached from the marriage altogether. That explanation felt believable at the time, and most people accepted it as the real story. So imagine the shock when new reports started suggesting something even more explosive, that Cardi B allegedly discovered Offset and Hennessy had spent a wild night together. That's the kind of rumor that stops people in their tracks. Not your own sister. To be fair, sources claim Hennessy didn't intentionally pursue her sister's husband behind her back. For a long time, though, people close to the situation claimed Hennessy was deeply protective of Cardi B and strongly disliked the way Offset treated her. Some even said she watched him closely whenever they were all together. If you remember, an insider once claimed Hennessy believed Offset was completely obsessed with Cardi B, almost possessive in the way he reacted whenever she pulled away. According to that same source, Offset often made dramatic gestures and grand public apologies every time his cheating was exposed, as if he was desperate to keep control of the relationship. And now, with these new allegations surfacing, some people are beginning to wonder whether those dramatic displays were hiding secrets far more complicated than anyone imagined. Or when in front of over 60,000 people, he interrupted her rolling, loud performance to implore her to take him back. What then took place? According to insiders, Offset allegedly got Hennessy intoxicated and then coerced her into having a three-way affair with another man. We're not entirely sure what transpired later, but you can assume that when Cardi found out, it was chaotic. According to an insider, Cardi dragged Seth off for vulgarity during the live session because of this.
You will talk to and I'm will play in your face, over and over and over and over and over again until be like, watch what I'm about to do, watch what I'm about to say. And it's sad that another like to, really like to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time. When I'm not the most confident, they like to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl. And I've really been sparing you. You've been feeling yourself, nigga, because of your album and shit. And you really been fucking doing me dirty after so many years that I'm fuck your ass. Not even a statue that I got for your. And it's so crazy that I gotta go fucking internet because whenever I tell you something, you don't take it seriously. And I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of it.
At the time, it was clear that Cardi B's explosive reaction had to be triggered by something far deeper than the public ever understood. Now the picture being painted is far more disturbing than anyone expected. The allegations suggest that Offset crossed a line involving her own sister, Hennessy, in a way that would shake any family to its core. If even part of these claims are true, the situation wasn't just messy, it was devastating on every level imaginable. And inevitably, the fallout reached beyond the marriage. The bond between Cardi B and Hennessy reportedly became strained under the weight of what happened. Anyone in Cardi B's position would struggle to process something like that. Even if Hennessy wasn't directly to blame, the emotional damage lingered, and for a time the closeness between the sisters reportedly faded into an uncomfortable distance. It also sheds light on why Cardi B's family eventually began pushing her to leave Offset for good. According to a blind item that circulated back in 2024, relatives were deeply concerned about the stress she was carrying, claiming Offset's repeated cheating was emotionally destructive and taking a serious toll on her health. Some even feared the constant pressure could lead to long-term neurological issues, which is why they allegedly urged her to walk away before it was too late. The entire situation felt heavy and exhausting. And as one observer put it, they genuinely admired Cardi B, but believed she could have avoided so much emotional damage if she had walked away after the earlier scandals. To them, it was a painful reminder that trying to fix someone who refuses to change often leads nowhere. The truth is, the whole situation looked like a storm that had been building for years. And some people believe this pattern may not be completely behind her, considering she's now involved with Stefon Diggs, who critics have already started comparing to its second version of Offset. But when you step back and really examine everything, the pieces begin to fall into place. It explains so much, especially why Cardi B, despite Stefon Diggs' rumored past mistakes, seems willing to give that relationship a chance. Cardi B didn't suddenly wake up one day and decide she was finished with Offset. Something happened that fundamentally changed how she saw him, how she saw her marriage, and even how she viewed the people closest to her. For years, she tolerated the embarrassment, the disrespect, and the endless cheating. But eventually, the situation crossed into territory that no relationship survives. If these reports are accurate, Offset didn't just damage a marriage, he shattered Cardi B's sense of trust completely. And even though Hennessy may not have been responsible, the emotional scars remained. When betrayal reaches that close to home, everything shifts. Conversations become tense, interactions feel forced, and nothing ever returns to the way it once was. Since the separation, the entire family dynamic appears to have changed, and Cardi B now carries the energy of someone who finally reached a breaking point she could no longer ignore. Offset has remained mostly quiet, no full explanation, no meaningful apology that could undo what happened. But by then it was already too late. The damage had sealed the ending of that chapter. Now, the only question hanging in the air is how much more of the story is still waiting to surface, and whether the biggest revelations haven't even been exposed yet.